Wow! We are live, baby. Let's go! Surprise, everybody. I know I've been saying I'm gonna be better at planning these in advance, but here's the deal. Today, my back hurts. I want to sit down. I want to talk to everybody about HubSpot. I want to talk to everybody about the awesome stuff we're doing here at Hapily. There's a lot of love for Hapily right now, flying around the LinkedInosphere, the HubSpot LinkedInosphere. We might take a peek at it. There's a lot of new content that HubSpot released on their YouTube channel. Might react to it. Who knows? We got a ton of stuff we can do. A lot of things. Gonna wait for a couple people to pop in here, then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's go make sure everything's working, huh? Yes. Let's go make sure everything's working, huh? It's working. It's working. Alrighty. So we got a bunch of stuff we can do. I'll bring the intro down a little bit. I'm gonna go share this out because discoverability on LinkedIn is trash, especially for live shows. So let's go take care of that. I'm live, and honestly, I might be live all day. Bang, bang, boom. It's a very ad hoc, very surprise, big fun, happily hour. Ask me anything about HubSpot. Whee! Let's go. How's everybody doing? Say what up in the chat. If there's any content you think I should be looking at, let me know. I'm here for it. Couple of things I was thinking about today. Can we make this bigger? Can I make this bigger? Let's get our little agenda going right here. Too big. Here we go. Couple things we could dive into. New SMS vid on HubSpot. I kind of wanted to review the Sales Hub. What was it, like a tutorial that Mark did? Wanted to check that out. The other thing I was thinking of too is just like, we haven't done a Zebra deep dive on one of these yet. So we could do a Zebra deep dive. Or another thing we could do would be something I wanted to talk about for a while is building referral programs on Associate. Either way, a lot of cool, neat stuff we can get into. Let me go ahead and we'll just, can I make this bigger? Not really. Okay. So yeah, let's dive into it. I think there's a bunch of cool stuff. I'm going to switch us over to a little bit of just some lo-fi. And we're gonna get right into it. Hope everyone is doing good. All right. I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna get myself over here. Yes. Yes. I'm gonna keep my little agenda open so I can kind of go through it. Let me go get my team to share this out. Sweet. This needs to be bigger. Alrighty. So, what was I doing? HubSpot, YouTube. Couple of things I wanted to take a peek at. New HubSpot SMS marketing tutorial just dropped. Definitely want to check that out. Oh wow, they have a whole new tutorial for HubSpot Marketing Hub just in general. That's interesting. I did want to take a look at Mark's Sales Hub tutorial just to see if I can add any additional kind of flair in there. So maybe we'll start with that and we'll go ahead and get it started. But again, guys, this whole thing, let me actually, I'm gonna grab my little thing here, copy. Oh, there we are. Yeah, this is an Ask Me Anything as always. So as you guys come into the live, just go ahead and let me know if I can answer any and all questions that you guys have about HubSpot. Let's dive into Mark's video. Whoa! I didn't pre-watch this. I did not. Let's fade this out and let's get started with Mark.
Sales Hub supercharges your sales process so you can find, track, and close deals all in one powerful, easy-to-use platform. To get started, you're going to want to sign up for a free HubSpot account. Don't worry, it's totally free for life. Head on over to HubSpot.com and sign up for free today. Sales Hub sits on top of HubSpot's Smart CRM.
The CRM is smart now, guys, just so everybody knows. Not that I wasn't always smart. I was very smart. But usually only as smart as the person behind the wheel, right? Keep that in mind.
Which means all of your company's teams from service to sales can see all of the same.
You can do some pretty dumb stuff in HubSpot, so don't. Just don't.
Customer information in one simple, easy to use place. To get started, all of your contacts live here under contacts or under companies. If you select companies, you'll get a list of all the different companies in your CRM. To look at your contacts, simply select contacts and you'll be brought to a page where you can see all of the contacts in your CRM. You can then filter them by contact owner, the date they were added, the last activity date for a contact, lead status, and a few bunch of advanced filters.
A few bunch? All the filters, right? So just keep in mind when you're looking at an advanced filters place, like you can like literally any property that you have, you can put in there. Yeah. What's up, Drew?
If you want to get a view of a contact, you can click preview. And
if going to do something dumb, then don't. I love it.
A pop-up panel will appear where you can see basic information about this contact. But for a much more...
Hold on. This sidebar, I'm pretty sure only shows the about section. I feel like this is like the next thing they need to do for CRM record customization is like choose what shows up on the previews, because I'm fairly certain it's only defaulting to what's under the about section, unless someone else has figured out a different way to do that. But like the thing that stinks about that is like oftentimes you're limiting that about section down to like the most necessary things that like always appear across all records, no matter what sort of record type they are, right? And so it stinks is that like if there's specific information you want to see about that type of record, right, and it's not something that's like applicable to all and you don't have it in that about section, you can't see it in these previews, which is kind of whack. So I mean, if anyone from product's watching, let us customize those preview windows
where you can see basic information about this contact. But for a much more detailed view, simply click into the contact record. Here, you'll see three main sections. On the left-hand side, we have information about the contact. name, email, company, industry. Please note here, we've got our lead status and our life cycle stage. This will come in super handy when we start talking about prospecting.
I wonder how much that lead status, though, is still being used with this leads object. But yeah, anyone else just watching this, like, just keep in mind, like, you can customize all this stuff on the left-hand side, too. It's not, like, set in stone, but you're getting a lot of this stuff, like, here out of the box.
In the middle section, we have an overview panel where you can see a basic overview.
Yeah, Jerry, seriously. They made it so you can customize that create form. Like, I can't imagine it's that many different steps to do that, like, preview. And if you can make it conditional, I mean, that's even better.
Of all the information for this contact. By the way, this is totally customizable. So if you want certain information in a certain place for a service team or a marketing team, it's totally customizable for your use case. Here again, you can see the company they're associated with, any deals that we have pending.
These new middle panels are so sick. I cannot wait until they open them up to like actual like public app developers too as well, instead of just private apps.
Or any customer service tickets. And finally, on the right-hand side, we can see other sorts of information such as company, lead status, any deals we have pending, tickets, payments, etc. To get a view of what this customer has done with our company or lead, simply click Activities, and here you can see a timeline of all the activity that this customer has had with your customer service team, your marketing team, or anybody in your sales process. As your sales team is working with customers and leads, creating lists can be really helpful. To get started, select Contacts and scroll down to Lists. Here you'll see a list of all the customer lists you've created, or to
the Global Donut Summit.
To create a new one, simply click Create
I love
List.
that.
They can be based on contact information, a company, or even deals. There's two main types of lists, active lists and...
I'm pretty sure since this video has gone up, you can do custom object lists. Am I crazy? I might be crazy. I'm not crazy. You could do lists of literally every single object. So sick.
Static lists. Active lists automatically update over time. For example, maybe you want to create a list of customers that haven't been contacted in the last 2 weeks. So as soon as a customer is contacted, they will be exited out of that list. A static list is a list where a customer will not be removed unless you manually remove them from the list. So I'm going to quickly make a list of
it a month ago,
who have
though.
not been contacted in 2 weeks.
Was that not the case a month ago? I don't know, maybe.
And I'll be looking for activity date.
It wouldn't surprise me if they cut some of that stuff out.
Now I can see that I will have any contact whose last activity date is more than 14 days ago, and I can quickly hit Save List, and HubSpot will create a list for me. Now again, this list...
I will say I like how Mark is weaving in the lists tool to a Sales Hub demo, right? I think a lot of classic sort of HubSpot users really only think that lists is just a marketing tool, which, yeah, you create lists to send marketing emails to. That is correct, right? But lists also have, like, I'm pretty sure much more powerful like filtering options and tools than like your standard sort of like views do, right? And something I don't see a lot of folks doing enough, especially on the sales side of things, is saying like, oh man, I'm having trouble like building some like saved filters on like my index pages because I can't quite do as much there, right? When like a lot of people just kind of like oversee the fact that you can just go create a list, which is a free tool, by the way, right? And then literally just use that as the filter for your views, right? Yeah, totally underappreciated, Drew. I completely agree with you. So shout out to Mark for showing this and actually like highlighting it in a Sales Hub tutorial, right?
This will automatically update over time. So as soon as a contact has not been contacted for 14 days, they will be added to this list. And as soon as we contact them, they will be removed from the list. Now that we see how HubSpot's Smart CRM works, let's get started building your sales process. Let's get started with prospecting. So as you click on a contact record, you want to make sure that you create a consistent experience and process for all of your sales team. This includes multiple touch points, including
is he talking about, so he's talking about prospecting. So he's talking about this new leads object now.
Email, phone calls, LinkedIn messages, and even SMS messages. However, when you're emailing your contacts, HubSpot's got a few tricks up its sleeves that is going to make your sales outreach a breeze. To get
Okay, maybe he's talking about prospecting more in general.
started, select a contact record and select email. You can integrate your email with HubSpot and simply write emails right from within HubSpot. To get started emailing your prospects with ease, simply select a contact from the CRM, and you can either select email from the left-hand toolbar or select emails from here. Click create email.
This is a good place to kind of highlight for like anyone who's new to HubSpot, like the difference between like marketing emails sent from HubSpot to like one-to-one, or as it's like kind of weirdly commonly been referred to in the HubSpot universe as like a sales email, right? We did that a lot internally at HubSpot. We said there's sales emails and then there's marketing emails, but sales emails is like kind of a stupid name for it because like, what if it's a service person sending an email, right? So like, we like to think like one-to-one emails versus like one-to-many, which would be like your marketing emails, right? The way that this works, especially if you want to be able to like send emails from inside of HubSpot, is like you're actually hooking up your Gmail, your Office 365 account to HubSpot, and HubSpot's basically connecting to that inbox and is able to like send emails essentially from that inbox, right? Whereas like marketing emails, those are coming from HubSpot's, you know, shared mass marketing email sending servers and like infrastructure and IP addresses, right? So it's like a totally separate method of like sending email. So anyone who's new to HubSpot watching this, so like just keep in mind, like when it comes to like email, there's sort of like two different ways you're interacting with email in HubSpot from like a marketing perspective versus like a one-to-one sales service, customer facing, just like you sending an email to another person perspective.
Here you'll notice that you can have templates. We have a lot of different templates that we've created over the years. I'll select my follow-up template and notice it automatically inserts his name.
Quick thing for anyone like setting up templates, and I'd say this like also, this also would be like a good thing to think about when you're doing sequences too. In fact, no, like not also would be, like it absolutely is a good thing to think about when doing sequences. When you're first like going in and like you're saying like, oh shit, I need to like set up all these templates. I need to set up all these sequences, right? One of the best things that you can do is talk to your sales team first and get some like firsthand data and like, you know, accounts of where they're most often writing the same emails over and over again, or in the case of sequences, where they're doing similar like follow-up cadences over and over and over again. And I think what you'll find is like a number of different scenarios that you can then build templates to use in those repeatable scenarios that sales and service people find themselves in, right? And again, I said sales at the beginning. This is a sales and it's a service tool. I like to call these the productivity tools, right? And templates is one of them. Sequences is one of them. But you can also look at things like documents, snippets, meetings, right? Like none of these are sales specific tools. Like these are definitely sales and service. And you could even argue marketing tool. Really, anyone who's a human being can use these to be a lot more productive, right? But again, when you're trying to kind of say like, what sort of template should we be setting up to begin with? Go talk to your team and say like, hey, what are you guys repetitively sending, right? What sort of space do you need me to leave to be able to personalize it? But how much of like the repetitive legwork can we kind of remove by creating these email templates and then letting you just kind of add in your own sort of personalization and flair to it to not make it look like it's the same thing every single time.
His company's name, and even has my meeting link included in the email. Now I can go ahead and send this email and automatically create a to-do list to follow up with them in 3 business days. If you want to see how AI can help you write amazing emails, let's head over to our Gmail inbox. From here, I can simply click Compose, and you'll notice I have a little tab here that says Write an Email for Me. I'll go ahead and click Create.
Careful with this, everybody.
This is going to be a follow-up email. I'm selling wholesale B2B catering services. I'm selling to Bob. This is going to be a follow-up call to invite your executive team for a discovery meeting. We want our tone to be professional and optimistic, and I'll simply click Create and let HubSpot's Content Assistant do the work for me. And here it is. I'm going to go ahead and select it and hit Insert Content. And from here, I can make sure that I can select my email subject line, put it in my subject. Notice that it even put Bob's name in there. I can go down here and still edit this if I want to edit any of the content and delete it. And once I'm ready to go, I can hit send, and that email is on its way out to my prospect.
Let's go. See, now, so in that case, again, what's happening here is you're sending the email from HubSpot, or no, sorry, you're sending the email from Gmail, in that scenario, but this would be the same if it's like Outlook or Office 365 or like whatever it may be, right? It's sending the email from your inbox and it's logging it, right? When you do that from within HubSpot, since it's connected to your inbox, it's literally just sending a signal to Gmail or Office 365 or whatever it is to actually go and send the email as if you were in the inbox, right? You'll see it in your outbox. You'll see it in there, right? So, just another like illustration of how these things are connected. It's very different than marketing email.
Gartner, it could take top business development reps up to 16 touch points to get a meeting on the books. So the key here is to remain consistent and diversified with your outreach. Think about sending emails, phone calls, LinkedIn connection requests. And you can even use HubSpot's tasks queues, and email scheduling to stay on top of your prospecting outreach. The key here is to remain consistent in your messaging. Don't send generic templated emails. Instead, personalize your outreach using email templates where you can easily swap out links, swap out articles, and personalize that content.
So he's building a really good point here, right? Personalization is not just personalization tokens, right? So like the whole thing, like we help companies just like company X do XYZ, right? That's like people smell that stuff from like a mile away, right? To me, personalization and templates should be like, hey, there's some parts of the email that are always going to be the same. Let's get that structure like already kind of built for you, right? And then make it so instead of writing the subject line, the general introduction, the body, like this, that, and the other thing, you're all you're doing is like you're putting in some sort of message that's actually like real and from the heart in there, right? Whether you're referencing a past conversation you had with somebody or you're referencing some personal research you actually did genuinely on the company, whatever it may be, right? Like using placeholder tokens instead of just like leaving space or anything like that, or just fully relying on personalization tokens is kind of whack. Like try to use like that placeholder spot and encourage people like, hey, what should you be writing in here? Right. Yeah. And again, be careful with the AI stuff because people can smell this.
For your prospects. Congratulations, you did it. Your prospect wants to meet. But now we know that all awkward email chain about, hey, when can you meet? How about Thursday at 2? What about Friday at 1? That all stops now with HubSpot's easy-to-use meeting tool. You'll simply send them a link that is aligned to your calendar. They'll select the time that works for them.
Like leading off with the $1,000 meeting link. The $1,000 paid HubSpot meeting link. That's aggressive. Anyway, love that. Quick thing here. Any HubSpot admins out there that are dealing with like adoption issues with your sales reps to a new CRM, oftentimes the meeting tool is like one of the quickest ways for them to like see a little bit of value that HubSpot's giving them, because they can all relate to the conversation of, hey, have you ever just gone back and forth with someone on an email? Hey, does this day work? No. Does this day work? No. Does this day work? Oh, it's my kid's birthday. Does this kid's work? Does this day work? Oh no, that's my kid's birthday. Da-da-da. Right. So like using that meetings link to make sure like you're just eliminating the annoying back and forth conversations about just finding a time to meet and ultimately spending more time going back and forth trying to find that time, right? Almost all sales reps can relate to that, right? So if you're looking for your sort of like first introduction to get your salespeople looking at HubSpot in a positive way, right? You gotta offer them something that is going to make their day easier. And the meetings tool is a very good common denominator because no one likes emails where you're scheduling stuff back and forth. Just send a link, save some time in their day. And it also just like gives them a reason to like jump into HubSpot and like kind of start figuring out and exploring it, right? I wouldn't say, hey, go build their meeting links for them. Like encourage them to go in and do it and take some accountability in order to get the benefit of it, right? So just a little thing. I've had to wrestle many sales teams onto a new CRM, that CRM being HubSpot, and almost always, they're stoked about the meetings tool because it's universally applicable to sales reps, that pain.
And the meeting is scheduled. Plus, you can even send automatic email reminders to them to remind them about the meeting on the books. Congratulations, you finally booked.
And you can charge them $1,000 to meet with you.
your connection call thanks to HubSpot's fancy meeting tool.
I love you, Mark.
Now the goal of this connection call is to answer a...
Mark, by the way, if you're watching this, we didn't get a bagel during inbound. I want to get a bagel with you, Mark. Moving on.
few key questions. This is where HubSpot snippets can come in super duper handy.
Oh,
There's
snippets are
probably
dope.
chunks of text that you type over and over again as a sales representative. But thanks to HubSpot snippets, all you need to do is type a shortcut and that text will appear automatically. Let me show you how it works. Let's say we're going to have
The snippets is like probably, and again, for people who don't understand the difference between templates and snippets, templates are an entire body of an email. Snippets are just chunks of text, right? But it can use things like personalization tokens. You can use things like inserting document links. You can insert meeting links to them, links to anything really. Like it's just a hyperlink at the end of the day. But I think like one of the most useful places for snippets inside of HubSpot is one, if you want to take like quick like notes, like in your like calls that you log or your meeting notes. If you're not using something like playbooks, snippets is like a really good sort of temporary replacement for playbooks, especially when it comes to like taking notes, right? But the other, so one, if you're having like an issue with people like no one's like formatting the notes in the same way, right? You could make a snippet that's like hashtag call notes and then just have it drop in like who's on the call, what's the subject of the call, what was discussed, what are the blockers, what are the next steps, whatever. And then all of a sudden everyone's taking consistent notes, right? Or at least you're enabling them to try to take consistent notes, right? People can still kind of get around that. But it's at least something to kind of help with data entry into your CRM when it comes to notes and logging calls and stuff like that. But the other thing too is if you're struggling to like see that people are using, for example, live chat and like the inbox and not having very consistent ways of like greeting and speaking and like talking to people and communicating stuff that's like often repetitively communicated, right? Or like sharing certain, resources that are often shared, recommending steps people take that are common, right? Snippets are really, really powerful if you have your team using the conversations inbox in a really meaningful way, right? So don't sleep on this.
I have a meeting with one of our contacts and I want to take some notes. I'll go ahead and select notes, create note. And now instead of typing out those questions, I can just hit hashtag, start to type connection call, and boom, all my questions are
automatically he did it. There you go.
For me. Now I can just take
notes
during the call.
I did not pre-watch.
All of my notes ready to go. Now that you've seen how powerful snippets can be, let me show you how easy it is to make one with the click of a button. Come on, let's go. So to make a snippet, simply head up top to conversations, select snippets, and go ahead and click create snippet. You'll give it a name so you can recognize it. This one is going to be for our follow-up call.
And guys, I know this is a Sales Hub tutorial that Mark's doing here, but like remember, Sales Hub Starter and Service Hub Starter, I'm pretty sure this is the same case today, are essentially the same things. And it's really just like, basic access to these like productivity tools, right? So don't let this being like a sales tutorial kind of like say, oh, this isn't going to be relevant for me if I'm working in service or support or like whatever it may be.
Go ahead and add the text that you want in that snippet. You can also format it by...
Hey guys, remember as I'm going through this, like this whole stream is just meant to be an AMA, right? I'll look at content to like fill time and everything, go in between it and to give my take on stuff and add some extra color to it. But as you're here, go ahead and drop questions in the chat. We can talk about anything. I'm even trying a new thing where I have a Discord link in this description. So if you want to like get onto Discord, you can actually like call in and we can just have a chat live here. If there's something you want to talk about, just let me know.
By bolding it, italicizing it, or even personalizing it with different personalization tokens. And finally, when you're ready, give it a shortcut. I'm just going to type the word follow and I'll save the snippet. Now, the next time you're in a meeting and need to take notes for a follow-up call, simply click create note, go ahead and type hashtag follow, and you'll see my snippet is...
What was that crunch?
Go ahead and type...
Anyone hear that? It's like a very crunchy crunch.
Save the snippet. Now, the next time you're in a meeting and need to take notes for a follow-up call, simply click create note, go ahead and type hashtag follow, and you'll see my snippet is ready to go. That's how easy it is to create a snippet for you and your
All
sales.
right, there was a little bit of
Think
a
about
bunch of
all the
crunch
time
in
they're
your
gonna
audio.
save not having to type that text over and over again. Remember, the goal of a connection call is to both qualify the prospect and also you. Can you help them, and can they benefit from your services? Using HubSpot's lead status, you can simply update a status right after the call. For example, if it's just not the right time, you can tag.
Now, again, you're probably going to not use this field much anymore because of that leads object, but you might have some other use cases for it. But I'd probably say if like you're effectively using that new leads object, you probably don't need this. And the reason being for that is kind of because of the problem that new leads object solves for, right? So that new lead object, the best way of thinking about that new lead object is that it is meant to be sort of a representation of an instance of someone becoming a lead. Max, the human, the contact, right? I could become a lead for a company multiple times, right? Maybe I reach out to sales once, doesn't end up being a good fit at the time because maybe my company's a little bit different or maybe too small or the need's just not there yet. But there could be a time in the future that I become a lead again because I re-engage with your company in another way, right? Or maybe you have like multiple product lines and like I can become a lead for different product lines. I've seen this a lot with like real estate companies where they've built like these custom objects for what they call inquiries, right? So someone can make an inquiry about a number of different like properties, for example, right? You could do that with leads. Like someone could become a lead for a bunch of different things, right? But it's a little bit different than what you kind of think of in Salesforce, where like Salesforce is a lead kind of representing like a person, and that person kind of evolves into a contact. Leads in HubSpot essentially are like little baby deal records that evolve like Pokemon into actual deals if they get qualified, right? And it's meant to be sort of like a little mini deal object that like SDRs and BDRs or like, whatever you're calling that role. The people, even, full cycle AEs might use lead objects before they actually create deals, because you don't want to create deals for just anything, because then you're going to tank your close rate, right? So creating these leads for that sort of in-between time where it's like, yeah, they're interested, but like, it doesn't really make sense to create a deal yet, right? Lead objects are perfect for that kind of stuff, right? Because then you also have that history of like how many times and for what these people have actually like reached out for and just kind of been in that process of being a lead, but not yet quite made it to actually being a deal, right? So again, this lead status stuff, maybe repurpose it to something else, right? Or if you're not using the lead object, then sure, use it. Keep in mind, you can customize these fields. But again, this, the lead status field or property on contacts has been something in HubSpot for a very, very long time. And it's kind of getting a little bit cannibalized or obsolete, if you will, because of this new lead object.
Tag them and update their status to bad timing. And with HubSpot's automation, you can create a work.
And see, the problem with having that be just a contact property, it's like that's saying they're bad timing. And in theory, like they're bad timing for life, unless you come back here and like change it. Whereas it could have been bad timing just the first instance that they reached out, right? But then they were qualified the second time they reached out. Right? Instead of it being like a, characteristic that lasts forever, which is kind of like the idea of a property. Not all the time. Like properties can change, yes. But here we're not seeing, like if we change it to bad timing and then they come back and all of a sudden it's qualified, like we don't see that there was another point in time where they reached out and it was bad timing, right? Again, that kind of stuff is like helpful context for sales reps when they're re-engaging someone who's engaged them in the past, but they haven't been qualified. So you want them to easily see that. And that's why that lead object is so great. And it's much better than like a property like this for lead status.
Flow to follow up with them automatically in 3 months. Or if they are qualified, you can automate them to automatically create a deal.
Hey guys, if you're in the chat, tell me where you're coming, where you're tuning in from.
Identifying next steps.
And let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to stop and go on a tangent anytime.
Okay. Just set a reminder to follow up in 3 months. On the other hand, if the prospect is qualified and we're going to open a deal, go ahead and schedule that next discovery call. Maybe you can ask the prospect who else needs to be on the discovery call to get this deal moving. Whether your company has sales reps that are both prospecting and closing deals, or you have separate teams for both.
Has Nick redone the sales, the inbound sales thing yet? Is that a thing? Drew, you're out in Baltimore? Dude, I went down like a Baltimore pizza hole on Instagram last night. It's so random that you're there. What was I looking for? No, I don't want to go here. I want to go to HubSpot Academy, my guy. No. What am I doing? Oh. academy.hubspot.com. I just want to see. Okay, so this is still Kyle. I'm excited to see what Nick does with these new. I mean, I don't know if he's rebuilding the sales cert. I mean, I'm assuming he is at some point. It's still Kyle though right now. So, Nick, if you're watching, can't wait to see what you're making.
The next step is to close deals. Let's see how easy it is to make a deal in HubSpot. Simply scroll to a contact, scroll down to the deals object and click add. You'll give that deal a name, make sure it's associated with the correct pipeline, and select which stage of your sales pipeline are you.
There's a cool feature now for those of you who want to, for those of you who are deal pipeline control hawks, where you can make it so it has to start in a certain stage.
You in, give it a dollar amount, a close date, make sure you have a deal owner associated with each deal, and note, is it new business or existing business? You can even assign a priority to each deal.
And remember, everything that Mark just showed you is completely customizable. Like, you can change this stuff. So if there's different information you want people putting in on a deal when they're creating it, there's different properties. If you want to make some things required, some things optional, you can totally do that. You can even make like certain properties like conditional too. And I'm pretty sure that works in these create forms as well.
And it will automatically associate the deal with your contact. You can go ahead and select the company, add any line items from your products, and click create. From here, this deal is automatically added as
shout out to Harry Bevins at Weave and Blend real quick. I'm going to put you guys onto this if you haven't seen it yet. Harry at Weave and Blend makes this sick app for HubSpot called Line Pilot. That basically lets you create these like templates that will automatically add line items to your deals based on properties that you select, right? So any admins watching this, I want you to imagine a world where, you know, you're doing what Mark's just did here, right? Where Mark is selecting properties on this new record menu here, creating deals, right? And you could customize it so it just selects like specific properties, right? And because of those properties that were selected, Line Pilot sees that on the deal and then automatically drops in line items onto that deal. So you don't even have to mess around with adding line items, which is cool. So, you know, shout out to Harry and the team over at Weave and Blend. Again, we love seeing people build apps on HubSpot. And it's just, you know, hella relevant to what we're watching right now.
You can even assign a priority to each deal, and it will automatically associate the deal with your contact. You can go ahead and select the company, add any line items from your products, and click.
If you're really a deal pipeline control freak, add pipeline stage conditions. Yep.
Create. From here, this deal is automatically added as the deal object with your contact. Right here, you can see that that deal has now been added to that contact. Now that you've created a deal, all your deals will live in what's called a deals pipeline within HubSpot. It's a super visual and easy to understand place where you can get a glimpse of all the deals that are currently in your sales team's pipeline. Let's jump in and take a look. To get started looking at your sales pipeline, simply scroll up top to sales and click deals. So here's your deals pipeline.
Okay, I'm going to rant for a second here. The one thing that makes me the one thing that chaps my ass about these deal board pages is, for whatever reason, they don't change the URL when you change the pipeline that you're looking at, right? So if I were to go up here and change from sales pipeline to like a different pipeline or whatever, it's not changing the URL up at the top, and I can't bookmark specific board views, right, of these. If someone has figured out how to do that, please tell me, because it's driving me crazy. I can do list views, but I don't want to have to click another button to get to the board view. I just want to bookmark a board view. So if anyone at HubSpot's listening, let me bookmark a board view, please. Please.
This is where you can see all of your deals that exist currently in your company in one simple place. You'll notice that there's different stages in my sales process: connecting with the customer, uncovering their challenges. Did I identify and present solutions? Did they receive a quote?
I have a random thought. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Would it be helpful, or would it make sense to have the option to have a amountless deal pipeline? And what I say by that is, like, not all deals, in the most general broad sense of the word, have a monetary value associated with them. For example, when I'm doing partnership negotiations for Hapily, I use a deal pipeline to manage the whole process, from like people filling out the form to having a call booked with me to me sending out the partnership agreement and like all that stuff, right? But it's like, it just kind of looks goofy because it's saying like $0 everywhere, right? And, you know, yes, you can solve this by doing I could do a custom objects for partnerships if I wanted to, which maybe I will do one day. And you could do a custom object for something like this, and you can create pipelines for custom objects, right? But like, at the end of the day, a partnership agreement is like a deal, kind of, right? Like, we're striking a deal to work together, right? I don't know. I think it would be cool if you could do deals that or deal pipelines that just didn't have all the dollar amount stuff all over them, right? So we could say like, hey, if this is a deal with like dollar amounts, disabled or something like that, right? With the dollar amount disabled, then maybe it just doesn't show all of this when you're looking at that specific pipeline. Can't be that hard. But I just don't know if that would like mess up your reporting or something. Maybe it's just a UI thing, right? When you're looking at a deal in a certain pipeline, if the dollar amounts are disabled, it just like gets rid of all the amount stuff that's like baked in that you can't like get rid of. Like all this deal insights and stuff like that. But this isn't a complaining stream.
And was the deal closed? Was it expanded? Or did I lose that deal?
These are just ideas. I'm just trying to provoke thought.
Now, to move a deal from stage to stage, you simply can click and drag it to the next step. Notice that the dollar amounts will change as I move each deal from stage to stage. This automatically lets your sales manager.
Yeah, me too. Same thing, Drew. I just make mine $0. I don't even add it in there just because we don't have it as like a requirement, right? But yeah. Also, anyone who's looking at this right now and seeing Mark kind of just like drag these, these deals like from stage to stage, if that gives you heartburn as the person who's in charge of the pipeline, whether you're a sales manager or like you're an admin or something, there are ways that you can lock it down where you can only move a deal stage like, you know, to the next one and move it sequentially and like avoid any opportunities to skip stuff. Something else to think about too is that you can set up required fields for deals to enter a certain stage, right? So if you're allowing people to like skip stages, but you want to make sure like, hey, once I get to this stage, I need to at least have this information. You can have required fields in there. So if they are kind of like dropping these deals around somewhat willy-nilly on the actual like board view, you could ensure that they're at the very least popping in the information that you absolutely have to have before they go on to that stage, right? So just keep that in mind.
Know
oh, we got 4 people watching. Awesome.
At any given chance.
Guys, tell me where you are. I know Drew's in Baltimore.
Milestones.
But let me know where you're tuning in from.
One stage to the next stage. That way, you're sure that your sales process is consistent across the board.
Deal exit criteria automation. Drew, tell me more about what you mean by deal exit criteria automation.
If you want to change your sales process or deal pipeline, it's super easy. Simply scroll up top, click Edit Pipeline, and here is where you can create different stages names. So if I want to change it from Connect to Discover, that's super easy.
Ooh. Your reps will never have to manually move their deals, which they'll love. So what is it? Are you saying like if certain properties get filled out or certain attributes or like deals meet some set of criteria, automatically move it to the next stage? So when I hear deal exit, I don't know what exit, well, I don't know how you're defining exit, but that sounds sick actually.
To do. You can even change the probability percentages of a deal closing. Now I know once I uncover a customer's challenges, I'm at about a 40% close rate. But as I identify and present custom demos for them, that goes up to 60%. And when I give them a quote, it goes up to about 80% and so on and so forth. All of this is completely customizable to you and your sales team. You can even create different pipelines for different sales teams. To help your sales team close deals more quickly, you can put all of your sales collateral, such as...
Is there... Deal probability doesn't end up being an actual property, right? I don't think it does. It's just something used to calculate the weighted pipeline amount. My brain was going to go somewhere different. I'm not going to let it go there right now.
All of this is completely customizable to you and your sales team. You can even create different pipelines.
Hey guys, just again, we got like 5 viewers on the live right now. Listen, I'm doing these lives to answer any questions you guys have about HubSpot. I review content in the meantime to fill time and give my take on different things. But if you guys have any questions, I will stop what I'm doing and I will give you any sort of answers, perspective, advice, whatever I can on any sort of like HubSpot issues you're having, inbound questions that you have, whether it's strategy, stuff you're doing in the tool, what a lot of us commonly refer to as RevOps, whatever it may be. I'm here for you, so let me know.
For different sales teams. To help your sales team close deals more quickly, you can put all of your sales collateral, such as slide decks, PDFs, and pricing sheets in what's called HubSpot's Sales Document Library.
As well as your service documentation too as well. Don't forget. Like there are documents that service teams will send to prospects. Don't let this tutorial bucket you into thinking that these tools are just for sales folks. That might be one of the most important things you take away from watching something like this.
Let me show you how it works. To get started, scroll up top to Sales and click Documents. Here you can upload.
This is why I'm so excited for the navigation to change, because they have such a good opportunity here to destroy the stigma of these productivity tools being like just for salespeople, right? And to really encourage other people in different roles to use these productivity tools that make HubSpot so great.
Major PDFs, sales sheets, slide decks, anything that you want to send to a prospect. The benefit is...
Okay, so Drew, that deal probability property is an actual property itself. Interesting. So it's probably set by HubSpot through that interface, because like you do have the ability to just type in a custom deal probability, don't you? And so that then must be translating that into the actual properties themselves. So yeah, that makes sense.
is once you send it, they get an exclusive link. This allows you to track whether a prospect has looked at your deck, has looked at a PDF, and how many times they've opened it or even shared it. This makes sure that you know what your customers are looking at so you can be prepared to answer their questions and, more importantly, help them solve their challenges and close deals.
Drew, I got a question for you. Are you guys using, when you guys do like traditional, and maybe you don't do this, but maybe you have in the past, like traditional content behind a landing page, do you guys host that as a HubSpot document link when people go and download it? Because I know it'll just let them see it if they're already cookied, but I can imagine too, if they send that to someone else and it's like a preview document link, you have an opportunity to capture like another lead there. I don't really know if I would like do that on my own, because like if someone gets the content, I kind of feel like they should be free to sort of share it with their colleagues, and like you wouldn't want to put any weird barriers on that, right? But I've seen some people do that in the past. I don't know if you guys have messed with it at all.
It's happening. It's happening. Your deal is ready to close. Let me show you how easy it is to send a quote to your prospect using HubSpot's quoting tool. HubSpot's quoting tool is totally free and so easy to use, you can literally get it done during a call with your prospect. Simply open up a deal record, scroll down on the right-hand side to where you see quotes, and
if you don't mind wading through all the
open up HubSpot's free quoting
the line
tool.
items.
You can even select one of our easy-to-use templates or create your own. Each quote is even given its unique URL, so you can track whether or not a prospect has even opened your quote or not.
I'm not going to say anything crazy, but we're working on something. That's all I'm going to say. We're working on something.
You can give it an expiration date, select your language and location. You can even add special comments to the buyer, like a little note. Notice as I type it in, it appears right here in the preview. Go ahead and click next. Make sure the contact is added. Select next. Make sure your information is added. Click next. And from here, I could add any line.
I'm not going to say much, but I'm just going to say we're working on something. Okay? We're working on something. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Gonna move on from here.
Items that might exist in my
True.
product
See you in a bit.
library. You can either select from my product library, or you can create your own custom line items. You can select the billing frequency and go ahead.
Again, I'm just going to say we're working on something. Not going to say what it is.
And hit save. Now you can see our quote. It has our professional services. Billing start date is at payment. We're billing them monthly for $12,000. And finally, click next. And here's a preview of that template ready for signature. Next, you're ready to select your signature and payment options. You can either include a space for a written signature, you can use an e-signature, and you can select payment options. Now, if no payment is necessary at the time of the contract, that's great, but you can also use HubSpot's payments or our integration with Stripe to collect.
We're going to skip over this. Listen. If you are using Stripe in any meaningful way, you need to check out Zebra. And the man to talk to is currently in the chat, and his name's Brian Roy. He is the payment solutions consultant here at Hapily. And all he does all day, every day is help customers who are using Stripe and integrated with Stripe and building stuff on Stripe and using Stripe in a meaningful way, such as having your subscriptions and your products and everything in there that runs your payment infrastructure. Zebra is the best way to integrate with Stripe. I'm just going to leave it at that.
That's credit card payments. Once you're ready, go ahead and hit next. Now you're ready to review your final quote to make sure all of the prospects' information is correct.
And here's the thing, if it was a Zebra quote inside of HubSpot, that might be pulling some dynamic pricing from Stripe. So if you're doing things like volume pricing, package pricing, tiered pricing, metered billing, right? And you're doing all that all in Stripe, Zebra can help you make HubSpot quotes work with that stuff and dynamically change the prices based on how it's set up in Stripe for your HubSpot quotes. Anyway, I'm going off. This is like an ad tangent. We're going to talk about Zebra in a little bit.
your information is correct, and when you're ready, you can select publish
When
quote,
you're ready.
and this will create a unique URL that you
Love
can
you, Mark.
send to your prospect to get that quote signed and get that deal closed. Congratulations, you sent the
Jeez.
quote, they accepted it, and you closed the deal. But what good
The
is sales
fireworks
without
messed me
video?
up,
Let me show
dude.
you how easy it is to create reports and dashboards right inside of Sales Hub. To get started, select reporting and dashboards. Now, a dashboard is a place where lots of different reports can live, and you can have multiple dashboards for different people on your team. Here's an example of a sales manager's dashboard. Here you can see each of these different.
You can have them for different people on your team. You can also have them for teams, right? You can build a dashboard that is filtered in a way where it's taking all the data and filtering it down by a team's activity or a team's deals, whatever it may be, right? And what's cool is everyone can access that dashboard, and you can use it to talk about stuff in team meetings and, you know, all those fun things, right? It's a great, like, dashboards are a great aid to lead meetings with. Whenever we have like our company sprint meetings, we're looking at dashboards that we build, right? But especially for like sales and service folks, right, where a dashboard may have like leaderboards or a bunch of reports around your salespeople's productivity, you could take that same exact dashboard and filter it down by an individual and see all the same reporting and stats and everything, but for that individual. So if, like, all of a sudden dashboards move on from just like a reporting tool to like a tool that helps with coaching conversations and one-on-ones and things like that too as well, right? So don't sleep on like all the nuanced fun ways that you can use dashboards.
Reports are updated in real time as deals move throughout your sales process. You can look at things like deals stage progress, revenue by rep, or even a report that shows activity leaderboard by team with a breakdown. All of this is real-time data that you can look at to make sure your sales team is performing, optimizing, and closing deals. And that's how
Real-time's
simple
one
it is
way to put it.
set up and run your sales process right within HubSpot using our essential sales tools. It now feels like I have an entire team of me running around getting the work done.
Yo.
HubSpot Sales Hub is simple to use and
Little
helps
green
close
screen.
deals faster. That's why we're the leading software choice among small, mid-market, and even enterprise-level companies. Click the link in the description below to get
Let's
started
go.
using HubSpot Sales Hub today. I'm Mark. Thanks for watching.
Sick. Okay. Let's come back here. I want to take a look at this new SMS stuff. It's been a while since SMS has come out. I know it kind of released with a little bit of stripped down functionality. And if I'm not crazy, we've watched an SMS tutorial on this very stream not too long ago. When it first, yep. Okay. So Dietry did an SMS marketing video 4 months ago, which we went through. But now Jory from Academy has a whole SMS marketing tutorial, and it's 8 minutes long. So let's see if they let's see what they've actually done to this tool. Because I'll be honest, I haven't touched it yet. I ain't doing a lot of SMS marketing. However, I will say, I'm one that SMS, I either freaking love it, the marketing that I get from it, or I absolutely hate it. For example, if you're like a political campaign and you're just buying phone numbers and you're SMS marketing people, jog on, hate you so much, right? But if you're like an e-commerce brand that I really like, right? And you're sending like not a lot, but very timely, rich stuff that includes like a photo, right, of products I actually like care about. That's awesome. There's two brands that do this very, very well. Let me see if I can find them. I'm really into Melon, that makes like hats. So like melon.com. Let me see. Do I have an example here? Yeah. So Melon, can I go full screen here? Yep, this might work. So Melon does this thing. I don't know if that's like too bright or not. Can I hear? Hold on, let me check something real quick. Is this too bright? Can people not see this? Is that okay? Oh, there you go. You can kind of see it here. Okay, so Melon, every time they've got like a new hat arrival, they do a very nice, easy message paired with a very beautiful picture. And these people don't blow me up every day. I'm getting these maybe like once a week, right? You know, and it's not crazy. They're not like hitting me up like every 2 seconds when there's a sale or anything. Well, actually, no, they do. They do. But like, I really love the whole lead with a big, beautiful image and a very simple paragraph, right? From a brand that I like. I will gladly take this SMS marketing, right? Another great brand that does it is One Bone. Shout out to One Bone. One Bone, here's an example of them doing it here, right? One Bone is like the only place I shop for clothes because I'm a bigger dude and it's like the only stuff that actually fits me. But again, they're doing a really good job, not overwhelming me, right? And the content they deliver through SMS is rich. It's almost never just like a text blast, right? So, I mean, if you can do this kind of stuff and like you're really, really paying attention to like what people actually like want to hear from you in that medium, which I think is like infrequent, but big important stuff, right? SMS can be cool. But if you're just like, you know, in there like DeVito, and then I started blasting, don't annoy people. All right, let me switch back. Oop, that's not what I want. There we go. Okay. Let's see what HubSpot SMS has going on.
The average person spends about 5 to 6 hours on their phone every day. And during that time, if we're not scrolling through social media,
5 to 6. That's light work, no effort. None. Snapfish. Matt, why is Snapfish the worst? Tell me your experience.
or our favorite websites, we're probably
is that
in
you?
2023.
Matt, is that you in the Discord, Walt Diddy? Dude, get on and talk to me. If you go into the waiting room, I'll drag you into the live on air thing. We can chat.
15 million text percent per minute, and 70% of people opened a new text message within 5 minutes of receiving it. Needless to say, this channel offers a lot of opportunity for businesses looking to reach high intent audiences, no matter where they're located. And thankfully, with HubSpot's SMS add-on, it's never been easier to create these SMS messages and reach your audience in this way. Here's how it works.
Yeah, dude, if you're texting people constantly, like multiple times a day, that's more annoying than a clingy ex, right?
Buy something from me. Are you gonna do it today? Buy something from me.
So as mentioned, the SMS tool comes with a bit of a prerequisite checklist that you want to make sure that you've completed before diving in and creating using the tool. So the first is that you need to make sure that you have the add-on enabled in your HubSpot account. Then from there, you need to make sure that you've registered your business to have a phone number with the mobile carriers. This is actually a process that you can do in HubSpot, and we've tried to make it as streamlined as possible, but you definitely need a phone number to send SMS messages from. So definitely requisite number 2. And then
okay. So this is a paid add-on still. HubSpot SMS setup. Keep in mind, guys, like there are third-party apps that have been doing SMS for like a very long time, right? And works with the workflows tool, stuff like that. But you know, just like everything else, I love to see HubSpot like natively building this in. So let's actually just look at this real quick. So what do you actually have to do to get this done? So you need Pro or Enterprise, and then you need to get a extra subscription. Please note, HubSpot works with a third-party SMS service provider, Twilio. That makes sense. They build, like HubSpot builds a lot of stuff on Twilio, right? Twilio is a common platform for a lot of, you know, softwares that have some sort of like messaging or calling element or something like that to build stuff on. So it doesn't surprise me that Twilio is running the back end for this to actually like send the SMS. Okay, so you have to purchase the Marketing Hub add-on. You must comply with the applicable laws, regulations. Okay, so you got to accept Twilio's TOS essentially. To date, T-Mobile is the first telecommunication to announce non-compliance fees. Okay, so T-Mobile will hit you if you're doing bad stuff. Twilio uses A2P deal. Okay, is not required. Twilio is not required for SMS. So you go into HubSpot, you submit a registration, and I'm assuming it like registers your number. You can only send SMS messages from US based numbers at the current time. Messages only sent to US, Canada. So yeah, keep that in mind. Forbidden message categories in Canada. Certain types of messages, including but not limited to high risk service, financial services, debt collection, or forgiveness and gambling. Interesting. So register your business, provide SMS details, and then get an SMS number. So how do you actually get the number? Do all this registration, add SMS, provide SMS details. Wow, this is a lot of setup. This is crazy. Wow, they went deep on this thing. Your final step in the SMS process, pending approval of the so you got to do the first 2 steps first. Get an SMS number. You do this by generating a phone number that you use to send messages in HubSpot. So is this like generating a HubSpot phone number? Is it the same thing, or is it? It doesn't look like it is. It looks like you just do it through this process. Anyway, I guess that makes sense. Like being able to like text people at mass is like a big thing. Oh, Matt, you're in the waiting room. Matt, can you unmute yourself? Is it letting you unmute yourself? Oh wait, maybe I need to change your Hold on. I gotta change your, what's it called?
I'm unmuted.
Oh, you're unmuted. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man?
Chilling, man. How you been?
Doing all right.
Nice, dude. What are you getting into today?
Watching a recording?
No, you're live right now, buddy.
I'm on right now?
Yeah, we're live.
Cut up.
We are live. Yeah, no, there's a big delay for LinkedIn. So, but yeah, man. No, I just saw you in there, but you are live on LinkedIn with me. What's on your mind, dude?
Nothing much. Just going through some property audits.
Oh, talk to me about that. What is that?
I'd rather not.
No.
Not.
Dude, tell me your Snapfish story. Like, how often were they just blasting you on SMS?
So, I mean, to be fair, they said, "Hey, we got some deals. Sign up for a text." I said, "Okay." I gave my consent, my permission. But yeah, so like January 1, January 7th, I'm looking at my records right now, January 10th, and then today.
Jeez. Oh, wow.
I mean, it's not like bombardment, but it's enough.
Yeah. Oh, so is this the, what they print photos and stuff?
Yeah.
On things?
So my wife
God.
and I, we do calendars for our family every holiday season.
Yep.
And that's our gifts.
Oh, dude.
So,
I just hit their website, and the second I did, I got hit with a spin the wheel pop-up.
Awful.
Yeah, a spin the wheel pop-up. There's like 30 ads across the whole thing, and this deal tabs like coupon thing just jumped right out at me.
I don't think anything has a legit price. I don't think anyone knows how to price their products there.
Yeah, it's
or like their competitors. It's the worst across the board in that industry of personalized photos. It's almost like have you been like looking for a mattress recently?
No, but I don't know how you define recently. I think like 5 years ago we got one.
Well, it might have been that bad back then, but I mean, try looking for, if you do it, go incognito, search for a mattress and just look at the marketing, just fiasco that is across the board.
Wait, is it just, tell me more. Is it like, why is it so crazy?
You can't trust anything. Nothing is trustworthy because there's deals everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna open up an incognito window.
Like, just off the top of my head, I'm not sure if these companies legit do what I am describing. Yeah. But like Nectar, excuse me. I think there's another one called like Ghost. Maybe not. Maybe Serta, I forget. But when you like actually start like, evaluating their products, it's all on the same platform.
Wait, what do you mean?
The UI is the same across the board. So someone somewhere got in and just totally cornered that UI experience in that industry.
Wait, so are you saying there's like a big grand conspiracy in the mattress pricing world?
Well,
allegedly.
I wouldn't even go that far. I mean, there's a conspiracy in the mattress world in general, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is kind of crazy that there's. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy. This whole. I mean, there was Casper. Wasn't purple Like one of the
Purple.
Purple was, I feel like, was one of the first ones to do the whole like online funny commercials about a mattress that you just buy online, and it's this like totally different experience, right? Versus like going into like a Jordan's Furniture or some like furniture place and actually doing it like, you know, in person. But yeah, dude, ever since Purple, I feel like there's been like a million of these like cool hip online brand you know, mattress companies that like completely sell online and like nowhere else. That's like Fig is another one. Casper, Nectar, like you were saying. That's wild.
Yeah, and then you'll get bombarded with ads for months.
Oh, sick. Yeah. Good thing I bought mine. Hey, by the way, if anyone's ever had a latex mattress, that's what we got. And man, does that thing keep you cool. It is, it's very nice. Matt, have you been doing anything with this HubSpot SMS stuff yet, or no? Or do you guys even fuck with SMS?
I was exploring some SMS capabilities about a few years ago when I was looking for some agencies.
Yeah.
But
did you ever look into like Sales Message or Sakari or like Kixi or any of those? Yeah.
Sakari was what we chose.
Nice.
We didn't take it to the degree that I was hoping to.
Yeah. Didn't push it to the limit.
There's a bit of a learning curve, and the industry that we were targeting was senior living.
Okay.
So we had to be pretty careful of how we were going to approach that.
Yeah.
We pretty much had to identify the customer up front, whether or not it's someone looking for themselves, in other words, older, or a offspring looking for like their parents, you know. For them.
Yeah, for sure. And there's always the chance that they're using a landline still, right? Hey, but
yeah, that too.
Anyway. Weird, man. That's wild.
Yeah, Sakari was pretty impressive. The little bit that I got to play with it was fun.
And you're mostly just sending emails sending text messages through workflows, right? In Sakari?
Right, and that was pretty much the selling point.
Yeah.
I think there's probably more competition as far as like workflow actions go in that space. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
But at the time, I think Sakari was pretty much the first, if not only.
And did they let you do like? Do they let you send like media with it? Like, could you send like pictures and stuff, or is it all just text?
I believe you could do at least one picture.
Okay, that's interesting. That's awesome. Yeah, it very much feels like this new SMS tool in HubSpot. I don't know. I think maybe just recently they added the ability to send SMSs in workflows, unless I'm imagining that, which I very well might be. Hold on. Product updates. SMS. Oh yeah, no, you can send an automated SMS message through a workflow. That's cool. So they really like started it as it was almost just like the email tool where like you're picking a list of people that have like opted in and you could send them an SMS, right? Which I'd imagine like as you're doing like your, you know, if you're an e-commerce brand or something like that and you're doing like your, you know, one-off, hey, this is a special sale running, something like that. It makes sense where you're just like selecting a list of people that have opted in. Hopefully you're also doing a little bit more segmentation besides just that, right? And then firing off a text to them because it's very like, you know, point in time based versus something like repetitive, right? But it's cool that they have this in here now because what it sounds like is people can start to like automate SMS into like their onboarding flows or things like that. Like since you can do it through workflows, which is super neat. But yeah, I haven't messed with it at all.
The sales team was exploring options. The idea was to just use SMS as a reminder for upcoming meetings, but we kind of wanted to be careful with the GDPR there. As far as like when they sign up for the form, we also have to like have another checkbox with SMS. I think we opted not to do that.
That's interesting. So GDPR does stuff around SMS too.
Well, no, I'm just saying like when it comes down to form fills, we kind of wanted to limit as far as all the legal speak. I think we needed one for GDPR and then another one for SMS.
Got you. Okay. So if you're collecting phone numbers and you want to do SMS stuff, you actually have to like get consent on the form itself. Is that like a US law? Or probably just a best practice? Probably, you probably should do it. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that, and it's text, that's pretty personal. At least in my opinion. That's the next level of intimacy that I am providing.
Oh, it's super invasive. Yeah. It's totally invasive. So even like, I know like with email, it's like you want to be careful to make sure like you have opt-in and stuff, because like you don't want your domain and stuff to get like torched by people like reporting it for spam and stuff like that. And obviously with like GDPR, like there's actual like legal ramifications and things like that. But what is like the equivalent of that with email. What was that?
It's also really easy to ignore email.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I look at my wife's phone and I see her email app and it says 35,000 unopened messages. And every time I see it, I physically cringe a little bit. But like,
I might get to 5K by the end of this month.
Hey, let's go, dude. Set a PR, man. But is there like an equivalent of like that for texting? Like you can, I guess you can report spam. Like I know that I get like those like spam calls or spam texts all the time. And I get that little thing in iMessage that says like, oh, this person doesn't look like they're in your things. Do you want to report it? So I guess, you can report numbers just like you'd be able to report like email addresses or something like that. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, if you want people to like, not hate you or not text you back, stop, or, actually want to receive these messages, you should probably make sure they're consenting to it anyway.
That's the there.
Word, man. Anyway, you got a crazy day ahead of you or what?
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm going to jump off and get back to work.
All right, man. Well, thank you for stopping by, dude. And you should have, hold on. Let me make it so you have, dude, why can I not edit your, because I didn't scroll down. All right. So I'm giving you perms here. So anytime I'm live, man, you could just pop right in. You don't even have to like go into the waiting room. You can just jump right in whenever you want. Because I know you.
The Discord?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, whenever you see me live on air. Well, yeah, I know I'm saying like if you see me talking about something and you want to hop on and be like, no, Max, that's a bad take. Let me debate you. You can literally just jump right in. You don't got to wait for me to like drag you in there. All right, brother. Get back to work. I'll talk to you later, man. Peace.
You too. Bye.
Bye. And again, that's a great reminder for anyone out there. Guys, there's a link to join my little Discord I've set up for the Happily Hour shows. So if you want to hop in, you can put yourself in the waiting room. You can call in. We can chat about HubSpot if you got questions, if you got a problem. Hey, if you're a HubSpotter out there, if you're a sales rep and you're working on a deal and you want a little bit of advice live in front of everybody on the solution to put together for your customer, oh my God, get on. I will easily be your solutions engineer live in front of everybody. So you just let me know. All you got to do is just get Discord and join. Let's keep going. Let's see what Jory's got for us here.
Number 3 is that you actually have to start obtaining the explicit consent of your audience members that you plan to send these messages to. It's actually
this is what we were just talking about with Matt.
actually illegal in most countries to directly message someone's personal number from your business if they haven't explicitly given you permission to do so. So you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success, whether that's on your website, in your social campaigns, email campaigns, or even in store, to get people excited and signing up to communicate with you in this channel. But once you have all 3 of those steps in place, you can start creating and crafting these messages in HubSpot. To do so, in your HubSpot account, navigate to your marketing drop-down menu and then select SMS. This will take you into your SMS tool. Now, the layout of this tool is going to feel very familiar. On the left-hand side, you have the Manage tab, and this is going to show you the drafts, anything that you have scheduled, and the messages that you've already sent. You also have an archived area if you need to make sure that you're not deleting past drafts, but you want to make sure that they're kind of
feels a lot like email, which is nice.
You also have this Analyze area, which is going to give you that high-level overview of what's working and what's not, the overall performance of this as a channel and how people are reacting. So it's a great way to, especially on a quarterly basis, sort of review.
There's a button there for customer journey analytics. That's interesting. I wonder if you click that, if it creates a customer journey analytics report with sent, delivered, and clicked as an SMS marketing analytics event. That would be sick. All right, sorry.
How
Mine's
well
wandering.
this is working for your different audience segments and what may not be resonating as much as you think about your various campaigns. Before diving into the tool, I also recommend checking out this compare messages area, especially after you've started to experiment with different messaging strategies or different tones, working with different audience segments to see how they react to this channel, because you can use this area to compare up to 10 different SMS messages against each other. So rather than A/B testing, you can almost think about this as like multivariate testing, because you're able to see a preview of each of your messages as well as a breakdown of how they performed against each other to start to get a sense of like what's really working and why that might be versus what's not really resonating with your audience. But let's say we're rearing to go. We want to create that new campaign, that new message. To do so, in the top right, click Create Message. And then we're going to start with our internal name. This is going to just tell our teams what the specific message was. So maybe we're excited and we're creating something for our spring campaign. We could name it something that, regardless of the exact name you choose, just try to keep it consistent so it's really obvious for any of your teammates coming into this tool what they're looking at when they see specific names. Once you've done creating an internal SMS name, down here, click Create Message. And this is going to take you into the editor. Should feel pretty familiar, especially if you've reviewed the email tool. There's a couple differences here that are worth calling out though. Unlike email, you actually need to be even more.
Is that a dark mode button? Am I seeing that right? What is that going to do is that just for the preview? That's interesting.
Synced when it comes to your SMS messages, so it's a best practice to keep it under 300 characters. Now the reason that is SMS messages actually have a character limit, so once you start going over the limit, it starts sending your message as multiple messages, which just decreases the engagement in your messages over time. So
what's iMessage? iMessage is not SMS. Is it MMS? SMS? No, SMS versus MMS. SMS, a text message from up to 76 characters without an attached file is known as an SMS. While text that includes a file like a picture, video, emoji, or website link becomes an MMS. Is iMessage MMS or SMS? iMessage versus okay. SMS and MMS requires a cell phone plan. iMessage travels over Apple's. Okay, so Apple's just okay. Yeah. All right. I forget that iMessage is its own app. So it's literally just sending messages over the internet. So an SMS, so an MMS. Okay, so that example that I was talking about earlier with One Bone and Melon, the hat and the clothing company, those are MMS messages because they're including multimedia, right? More than just like simple text. Okay.
Here you want to be super succinct, super punchy with your copy, and once you're feeling really good with the copy and the preview and how everything's looking, you can then navigate to the Settings tab, and this is going to make sure that all of your defaults are feeling correct, so your internal name's correct, the default language is correct, and then if you're associating this with a larger promotional efforts in one of your campaigns, you can actually associate this SMS message with that using the campaign dropdown. Then using the Sending tab, we can get into some of the good stuff. So here you can definitely schedule this for later. That's a really popular option, especially if it's associated with the campaign.
Hey, there it is, part of a workflow.
Send out your SMS immediately if you know that this is a promotion that has to go out as quickly as their option, especially if it's associated with the campaign. But you can choose to send
between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Check okay, best practices. Interesting.
Out your SMS immediately if you know that this is a promotion that has to go out as quickly as possible. Maybe it's a time-sensitive campaign that you're reacting to. If you are scheduling for later, it's kind of a best practice to think about this in terms of, yes, your recipient's time zones, but also the persona. So whether you're B2B or B2C, you may want to consider starting on weekdays between working hours to get a sense of how your personas are reacting to this kind of outreach and messaging. That said, your business is unique, your product is unique, and your personas are unique.
True.
So you can definitely consider experimenting on
everyone's
time
audience
and
is
when
different.
You're sending it on
and that's also
days.
So this is also why I get like so weird about like the email send time argument, right? Is like I don't think people are like, I don't know, there's probably evidence against this, right? But my take is that email send time doesn't matter that much, unless it's like getting to someone quickly when they take some sort of action. That's one thing, right? But just because you send someone an email at a certain time doesn't mean that's when they're going to open it up and read it, right? Everyone, I think, is very different on their email reading strategies. You could be like my wife, who literally doesn't open up anything. You could be like me, who opens up an email as soon as I get it just to get the notification to go away. Doesn't mean I read it, right? It just means that I needed to, my ADHD needed to clear that notification, right? So nothing's a perfect science. It is marketing after all. Anyway.
Find out what resonates best for your audience. Now, speaking of recipients, that brings us to the recipients area. And the send to dropdown is going to let you select a list of the folks that you want to send this specific SMS to. Now, you also have this option of the don't send to list area. Now, this is going to be particularly important if you have various segments that you're nurturing with slightly different content or promotional offers, because it's essentially going to explicitly make sure that they do not receive this specific campaign. Again, as you have certain audiences that you're nurturing using different campaigns, this becomes more and more important. Now, we need to make sure that this message renders the way that we're expecting to. So another great practice to consider is the send test message area. This allows you to send this text message to your team or even to yourself, just to make sure that everything, whether that's your words or your emojis or whatever you're sending to your audiences,
I have
is
good
actually
words. I have the
rendering
best
as
words.
expected. Like email, it's just a best practice to make sure everything's firing as expected before you send it to your entire audience. Now, once everything is looking good and feeling good, you can then go to this review and schedule area. If you have this message designated to be sent now, this is going to allow you to immediately send this message to your audiences, or in the case of this message, it's going to allow us to schedule it for later by clicking schedule message. Now, throughout this tutorial, you may have seen this little widget and thought, Jory, what is this and why is it about to save my life? This is for my professional and enterprise users, and peanut butter me jelly. This is a shortcut to the HubSpot collaboration tools, and when I tell you this is going to make you more efficient, I mean it. So HubSpot's collaboration tools facilitate efficient teamwork, allowing teams to more easily communicate, coordinate tasks, and collaborate in real time. This is because you can create comments and comment, mention people on the fly, and even assign tasks to make sure that your team knows what they need to be doing, what they need to be reviewing, and how they can help.
It's nice that this is built into like literally every single tool now, this collaboration sidebar.
Make sure that your promotion goes out on time. So by streamlining processes and promoting this seamless collaboration, these tools are really designed to help teams effectively work together to achieve better results. You even have access to a quick marketing calendar so everyone stays on the same page, all without interrupting your day-to-day workflow. That's working smarter, not harder. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet?
Alrighty.
We have a ton of tutorials just like this one that cover best practices, technical tips, and more. Just be sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss the amazing content we have coming your way. I'm Jory from HubSpot, and thanks for watching.
Nice. Everyone go check out HubSpot on YouTube. Okay. So what time we got? Where we at? Been live for about an hour and some change. How long have we been on for? Can I see this somewhere? Hour and a half-ish. What I think I'll do is, why don't we actually schedule a literal event for next week, and we can do a big like zebra walkthrough or something, and then I might pop over to TikTok for a little bit to do HubSpot AMA stuff over there. But anyway, guys, it was good chatting with you, and I will get something scheduled for next week for a big zebra walkthrough, as well as a big associate one. I think that might be a fun episode. All right. Later, everybody.